Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of One Take Podcast Reviews. I know it's been quite a while for when I uploaded on my YouTube channel. And before I start these reviews off, I just want to give a little quick update of what's been going on lately with me and my life. And the reason why I took a brief hiatus from the channel is because I've been dealing with a lot of personal life stuff. I've been dealing with school, work, social life. Pretty much 2018 has been a very busy year for me, and to tell you the truth, I didn't have enough time to put my contributions to the channel. And if anyone was wondering where I was, I've just been dealing with a lot of stuff in my life. And if you guys have been waiting for another episode, I'd like to give my apologies because it's been quite a ride in 2018. But the school semester for college is starting to end soon, and I've been relaxing at work now, other than the big movies that are coming out this coming week and the next, which I am actually going to be reviewing today. And hopefully I get more videos out for the channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because it's been two movies I've been looking forward to this December that I'm going to review now, that I managed to get early screenings to. And without further ado, let's get started with these reviews. So in the last 2 weeks, I managed to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Bumblebee. These two films I've been looking forward to in December the most, probably. And I've just been really curious to see how these two films would fare up with the reception of the public and also the critics. And just from the previews alone from both of these movies, I was very excited for both. I saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse first, so I might as well get ahead and get started with that one. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse I managed to see at an early screening on December 1st, which was a Saturday. And when I first saw the previews for this film, I was really looking forward to this because visually it was very appealing and it looked amazing. Like, it really looked like a comic book come to life. And we'd never really seen a movie based off Miles Morales either, so I've been really curious to see how they would do with Miles Morales' first movie with this film. And I don't know a lot about Miles Morales. I know like maybe briefly about him because I've read some info on him before this movie came out. And even I played the Spider-Man PS4 game, which did have sections of Miles Morales in that. So I was really looking forward to see how they would play off his story here. And I gotta say, with my initial reactions, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is definitely one of the best movies this year I've seen. Probably the best superhero film I've seen this year, and probably the best animated film I saw this year. So what's the premise of this movie? So this movie focuses on Miles Morales as a high schooler. He's pretty much, I think, starting high school in this. And it focuses on him, on that life, and he's kind of separated from his family with this high school life. And it also has Peter Parker in this story as like his mentor when he becomes Spider-Man. So how this movie plays off is that it's called Into the Spider-Verse, which means there's multiple Spider-Mans coming into the fray, which they get sucked into one alternate reality, which is Miles Morales' reality. So not just Miles Morales and Peter Parker are in this story, but we also have other Spider people like Spider-Gwen. We also have Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, and even Penny Parker as well. So when I first saw that these characters were going to be in the film within the previews, I was really looking forward to see what they would bring to the table. And not only do they bring into the table, it's also mainly focused on Miles' story. And Miles, I gotta say, is a very compelling character from the start you see him. And to tell you the truth, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Miles Morales in this universe, because I would even like to see Miles Morales portrayed in a live action format, because I think his character in this was very compelling throughout. Like, he had real emotion, and also he's a very flawed person. Like, when he starts his life as a superhero, he's not perfect. Like, he screws up a lot. He doesn't always follow orders from Peter Parker, who is his mentor here. And I just thought it made for a more compelling character here. And he's very excellently voiced by Shameik Moore, who apparently was in the movie Dope. I didn't see Dope, unfortunately, and he was also in The Get Down, which I heard fantastic reviews about that show too, but I haven't seen it yet either. But his voice really lends to the character, and it lends a lot of emotion here. And Peter Parker is voiced by Jake Johnson, who I do know from actually quite a few things. He was in New Girl, and he was also in Jurassic World 1. And I thought his version of Peter Parker was very funny and very touching as well, as much as Miles too. And that's the thing, it's not just also focused on Miles, there's also like a focus on Peter here too. Yes, we know Peter Parker and who he is, because we've seen like 6 or 7 movies based off Peter Parker beforehand, all live action. But seeing him portrayed here was still very fascinating in my part, because he's also flawed. He's not perfect either, and he doesn't think of himself as a great mentor towards Miles, but he does what he can in order to help Miles and to build his legacy too. And I thought the supporting characters with all the other Spider people were also fantastic. Real quick, I want to go over some of the voice actors that were in this movie as well, that all of them did fantastic as well. We have Haley Steinfeld, who is also in Bumblebee, which we'll review later, as Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Woman, also known as Spider-Gwen. A lot of names there. Mahershala Ali, who portrays Aaron Davis, who is Miles' uncle in the movie. And Mahershala Ali has been a fantastic actor regardless. I mean, he won an Academy Award for Moonlight, and he was also great in other roles like Luke Cage, for example. I didn't finish Luke Cage, but I did see like his season of Luke Cage, and I thought he did a fantastic job regardless. We also have Brian Tyree Henry, who portrays Jefferson Davis / Morales. And I haven't really seen a lot of Brian Tyree Henry in a lot of films, but I know he was in Atlanta with Donald Glover. And also he was in Hotel Artemis, which I did see, and he was actually one of the better parts of Hotel Artemis. And he's apparently in a lot of things. I actually wanted to see Widows with him, and If Beale Street Could Talk also comes out very soon, which I am looking forward to seeing as well. And apparently he's also going to be in the Child's Play remake, which I'm not looking forward to, but I'll watch it for him and Aubrey Plaza. But I do think Brian Tyree Henry has a lot of potential as an actor, and because I haven't really seen him in a lot of things, but he did a great job voicing Jefferson Davis here. We also have Nicolas Cage as Peter Parker / Spider-Man Noir, and he was very, very funny in this role too. Like, he portrays it in a very deep, depressing tone, but he sells like every joke he does. I don't really want to spoil too much of these supporting characters either, but Spider Noir was also one of my favorite characters here too. We also have John Mulaney as Peter Porker, aka Spider Ham, and he was also very funny. He reminded me of like a Looney Tunes Spider-Man version in a way, but he was very hilarious, and he also has some of the best jokes in the movie too. And we also have, sorry if I butchered this name, but Kimiko Glenn as Penny Parker, and she also gets a few highlights too in the film. And also Liev Schreiber as Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, as you may know from a bunch of other Marvel property like Daredevil, for example. And Wilson Fisk is the main villain in this movie, but he is kind of sidelined due to the other Spider people in this movie. And to tell you the truth, as much as I would like to see more of Fisk in a way, I don't think it hurt the movie's quality by any means, because I think the main focus of this movie was not only on the Spider people, but also in Miles Morales' story, which I think was the key and heart and soul of this movie. And with that out of the way, with the story out of the way, I wanted to go focus on also the animation aspect, because like I said before, the previews looked visually appealing, and it was something I've really never seen before. And I gotta say, with this film, the visuals are absolutely incredible in this movie. Like I said before, this is a comic book movie come to life, and man, it's just so beautiful to look at from start to finish. Yes, it might be some distracting, and it might not appeal to everybody, but I think personally, this is definitely probably the most comic booky movie to date, in my opinion. And to tell you the truth, even with like you see little nods to like Easter eggs and comic book lore that Spider-Man has, and even movie lore. Like, there's a bunch of hilarious jokes in this movie that I found really hilarious, and I just can't say enough about this movie, honestly. Like, I don't want to go into other details because I feel like I would spoil this movie for you guys, and I'm not going to do that for you because this is a spoiler-free review of both these movies. And because since they're not even out yet, I definitely shouldn't spoil it just already. But I just gotta say, to wrap up Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I really love this movie so much, and it definitely is probably my favorite film this year. Definitely my favorite superhero film this year, and definitely my favorite animated film this year. So with that being said, I am gonna introduce a score now to this film. I'm not sure in the previous videos I have given a score to other movies, but I'm gonna base it off a 5 star rating, and I'm definitely gonna give Spider-Man a perfect 5 out of 5. This is just a fantastic movie from start to finish, and I can't say any more about it. You just have to go see it. Maybe I'll do a spoiler review when the film comes out. It comes out on December 14th officially, and I just can't wait for you guys to see it. It's just fantastic. Now the next movie we're going to review here is Bumblebee. Now I've been intrigued enough by the trailers. Like I was very curious to see how this was going to go, because I did see all the Transformers movies before this one, and they just gotten progressively worse and worse since the first came out, because every sequel just gotten way down in its quality. And to tell you the truth, I was really hating where it was going to go with this. So when Bumblebee was first announced, I wasn't initially looking forward to it, just because like I was already kind of burned out of the Transformers movies at this point. But when I heard they were announcing a new director for it instead of Michael Bay anymore, that's when I was starting to get a little more intrigued. And because the director is Travis Knight. Now, Travis Knight was in charge of some Laika films like Coraline, Paranorman, The Box Trolls, and he directed his own with Kubo and the Two Strings. Now, admittedly, I didn't see Kubo and the Two Strings, nor have I seen the other Laika films except for Coraline, which I thought was fantastic. So, I was hoping with a new director and a new writer this time around that we would get something special with Bumblebee. And I gotta say, Bumblebee really surprised me. Like, this is definitely one of my favorite films this year as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off with what the story is about. So this is a kind of a prequel, soft reboot in a way. It definitely does take place before the first movie came out. So I was like, is it going to be a prequel? Is it going to be a reboot? Because from the trailers alone, it gave off a very different tone from the Michael Bay films. Because the Michael Bay films honestly felt kind of cynical in a way, and I just thought it was very amateurish at times too. Like, I really can't stand those films anymore, honestly, after seeing this one. And this one stars also Haley Steinfeld, who I mentioned in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse review earlier. She's gonna have a great month this December. And it also stars John Cena. And I wanted to get into the cast first, which was Haley Steinfeld. She gives an incredible performance here. This may be my favorite performance from Haley Steinfeld yet. And she gives so much emotion and depth to the character of Charlie. And it's the heart of this film is Bumblebee and Charlie together. It's their friendship that really sells the movie. Because if you want to be honest, if the friendship didn't work as well as it did in this film, then the movie wouldn't work. Because it solely lies on their friendship, while also having a few action sequences here and there. And both of them are so charming together. They're so cute that I just couldn't take my eyes off the screen every time they were having fun with each other and also learning more about each other. So Charlie is pretty much a girl in high school age. She just turned 18 actually in this film, and she's kind of like grief-stricken. She's very depressed at times because her father actually passed away due to a heart attack, and she was once a diver in her high school time. So when her father passed away, that kind of took away her diver life in a way too, and she became a mechanic. As you can see probably from the trailers, that she fixes cars, and she stumbles across Bumblebee, who, by the way, it just came from the Cybertron War before when this movie starts. And when the Cybertron War happens in this movie, it's literally in the first 5 minutes. You also see part of it in the trailer. It was fantastic to look at. Like, the CGI was well done. It definitely had a lot of your favorite characters to those who know the Transformers lore and toys. So I'm pretty sure for most Transformers geeks out there, they would love this film so much. And I consider myself a casual Transformers geek because I do know some of the Transformers. I don't know all of them, unfortunately. I keep forgetting their names. But I noticed like a lot of classic characters that people would definitely get if you were a hardcore Transformers fan. And they definitely pulled it off with the Cybertron scene in the beginning. And so when Bumblebee is struck down to Earth, he eventually turns into the Beetle, which you probably know from the classic cartoons that he becomes a beetle in this lore. And it's presented here, and Charlie finds Bumblebee in a junkyard, I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's a junkyard, and she eventually wants the car because it's her birthday, and the car dealer, I guess, gives it to her for free because it's her birthday, and also she has been helping him out at times too. So eventually she finds out that Bumblebee is a robot in disguise, and so it just becomes a beautiful friendship throughout the film. And I say beautiful in a way that it's very charming, it's very funny, it's just very heartwarming throughout the film. And also we have John Cena, who portrays Burns, who's an agent of Sector 7. Sector 7 might be familiar with some of you guys who know the Transformers movies beforehand. They were first presented in the first movie with John Turturro. I'm sorry if I butchered his name, but he was the main agent in the first Transformers movie and throughout the franchise as a whole. So John Cena portrays Jack Burns, who is an agent of Sector 7. And I gotta say, John Cena really is improving as a movie star. You probably know him mainly for WWE wrestling, and I saw him in Blockers this year too, and he was actually really, really funny in Blockers too. So I really enjoyed his presence in Blockers, and I definitely enjoyed his presence here, though it did feel like he didn't have enough to do in this film other than just being a hulking military man. He wasn't like the villain per se, he was more like an antagonist for the protagonist here. So I definitely enjoyed his presence, though they didn't really give him a lot to do with this character. But I would definitely like to see John Cena in more films because I do think he is improving as an actor. And moving on to like the action and special effects, they definitely took a big improvement to make the action scenes look and sound better. Like in the Michael Bay films, they just looked like a hunk of junk just flying everywhere, where you can't even tell which Transformer is fighting each other. And with this film, they smartly use color schemes that stand out in a way, because they're going with a more classic look rather than an all modern jumbly look in a way. And I'm glad they went this approach because now you can tell who's fighting each other. You can tell like with all these beautiful wide shots, and it's just really good to look at action scenes that you can actually see. So with that said, there's also other Transformers in this movie. We have Shatter and Dropkick, who are the main Decepticons in this movie. They're actual triple Decepticons that turn into like first a car and then also a helicopter and a jet, and then they finally go into their Decepticon form. And I did not know this at first, but Shatter is voiced by Angela Bassett, and Dropkick is voiced by Justin Theroux. And I didn't even know that because I thought it was pretty cool that they lend their voices in this movie. And they did play some pretty menacing villains. What I liked about this movie that other Transformers movies didn't care about is that they did a more smaller scale story here. There's no like world-ending stakes that with a bunch of confusing plot lines and stuff like that. It's just one simple story throughout, with a smaller force that is to be reckoned with Bumblebee and Charlie. And the heart of the movie, of course, like I said, is Charlie and Bumblebee's relationship, which I thought it did, like I said, a great job. And to tell you the truth, this film really did surprise me all the way through, because I wasn't initially looking forward to seeing this. I mean, was mildly intrigued by the trailers because it looked different from the Michael Bay films. And coming out of the theater for this one was very surprised and very happy to say that this is probably the best Transformers movie by a ton of miles away from the Michael Bay films. And even if you compare this to the first Transformers movie by Michael Bay, which is considered to be the best before this one, It's decent. There are some things that don't hold up as well. There are some things that do hold up, but Bumblebee is still like miles and miles better than that one too. And I can safely say that Bumblebee truly is one of the year's best films, and it's definitely and going to be in my top 10 films this year. And that's why I'm going to give Bumblebee a 4.5 out of 5. Now, thank you guys so much for watching both these reviews of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Bumblebee. Both will be non-spoiler, and hope maybe someday I'll do a spoiler review for both these films. I'm just not going to do them now because they're not even officially released to the public yet. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse releases on the 14th of December, while Bumblebee releases on the 21st of December. So when those films come out officially for the public, I recommend you guys see both of these films because they were both fantastic, and I can't wait to look to see more films in December and even next year. So the next movie coming up that I'm probably gonna see is Aquaman. I might have a review for that. Don't quote me on that, but I hope to get a review of Aquaman out because I am actually looking forward to seeing Aquaman. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be my December haul for movies this December. There's no Star Wars movies out this year, and I'm just happy to have seen both these films early. Like I said, I saw Spider-Verse on the 1st of December as a free screening from PlayStation, surprisingly. And I saw Bumblebee on the 8th of December, which they actually hosted early screenings to buy tickets. So I did buy a ticket, and I did manage to see that. And I'm very happy that I've seen both these films early, and I probably am going to see it again when they officially release. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching my reviews of these films, and hopefully in the future I'll get more reviews and more podcasts out for you guys. Hopefully I'll get more special guests with us. And if you liked what you saw, make sure to subscribe to the channel and comment below if you have any questions or comments of my channel. And I look forward to 2019 next year. Hopefully I get to review more stuff in 2019. There's a lot I'm looking forward to in 2019. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a great time out there.